Okay, I was just talking to Jason about this. I've been looking for an excuse to show you guys this guitar. So this is a 1920s Larsson guitar. They call it Larsson even though nobody's really sure who the exact luthiers were that made these guitars, but they were made in Chicago in the turn of the century. The story has it that a lot of people came over from the old country, from Europe, and some of them were highly skilled. Most of them were instrument makers, violin makers and whatnot. So they started making these little guitars, and they didn't even sign them or anything. It's called a parlor guitar because originally this size guitar was made for women to play in the parlors, and they've since become incredibly in demand. They're very rare. And this one I was lucky enough to get off of a guy that was selling it in San Francisco, and I picked the thing up and played it, and I went, oh my God, this thing, I mean, listen to the sound. I don't know if you can hear it, but it rings and it just keeps ringing, it keeps blooming. So today what I wanted to do is to use this guitar, and I keep it in open E a lot of the time, which is like an E, B, E, G sharp, B, E. Sounds like this. So open E is basically like if you made an E chord like that, that's the way you tune it, okay? So you can do, if you tune it down a whole step down, it'd be an open D, but it'd be the same forms. So what I wanted to do, I just did a little jam where I was just kind of reforming it. That's kind of a bluesy thing, but you can also get pretty with it, you know. So what's cool about what I'm discovering as I play open E more and more, and I really like doing it. I started out doing it on slide, doing it on my National for slide guitar, but then I started sort of exploring it as a songwriting tool. And I think open tunings are really cool and really helpful because it takes you out of the normal position. So what I found out is there's a couple basic moves that I'm going to show you right now. Some of them are really easy too. So if you got an open E here, right? And this is one that I used to teach when I taught kids at Blue Star Music Camp. I did that for a number of years. And this is something I would use to, if we had a kid that was not, familiar with guitar, played only a little bit, a beginner, we put it in an open tune like this, and then if you take your index finger and just lay it across, most people can accomplish that. I can even do it myself, depending on the day. And you hit it on the 5th fret, you get an A chord. Okay, well, that's pretty easy. Pretty easy to do. It takes a little bit of strength. And if you go up 2 more to the 7th fret, you got a B chord. Okay? So what that allows you to do in open tuning is you can be strumming along and you can do a 1-4-5, which is great. And a lot of songs are written in 1-4-5, 1-4-5. Okay? And so I'll give you an example of how to utilize just that right there, especially if you're a beginner and you can manage to get the open tuning going, which sounds like that. Okay, so I'm just going to pick through this a little bit and show you where you can go with just those 3 moves. So here's the open chord. Now I'm finger picking, but you can strum too if you want. But for today, I'm gonna go ahead and pick because it sounds good. And then I'm gonna go to the A. Back to E. And now I'm going to go to the 5 chord, to the B, to the A, and then back to the E. So that's a basic 1-4-5 blues progression. I'm doing it in kind of a folk blues finger style. But if you want to utilize that in a lot of different ways, you can just by, I'm going to pull out a pick now and strum it for you and show you how it sounds. But it's kind of cool because I have a friend I used to play with here on Maui years ago, and he did all his writing in open tuning. I think he did open G if I remember right. Open G, open D. Keith Richards does that a lot. And it opens up a lot of different fingerings that you can get different sounds. So again, for instance, if I strum it with a pick, it's a... the B. Don't worry, I'm going to show you that. So you're listening to me, you're going, wait a second, what did he just do? It sounded like Keith Richards. Yeah, that's definitely a soul move. So what I did was, and this is a really cool move that I can show you right off, is by playing an E7th form, which looks like this. Okay, so I got my second finger on the second fret of the A string, first finger on the first fret of the G. So it's as if you're playing an E7th. But what it really is it's another form of the A chord. You'll hear it sometimes that way too. But we're not going to worry about it for now. We're just going to do this. Okay? So you can see how easy that is. If you can make that form that most people can, that E7th form, you're hitting a 4 chord, an A. It's just another little different voicing, right? Well, if it works there, you know it's going to work up here in the A, because it's as if you move the nut of the guitar all the way up here, like a capo, right? And you do the same exact move, this. But now you got to do it with your third and your second finger. Okay? So here you're going from an A to a D. Okay? So you've turned that EA into an AD. Or you can just do the sus move, even easier. So you have a choice here. You can do this one, or just use your first finger and the same thing up here. And then you also do it, obviously, on the B, exactly the same thing. You have a choice, this. Back to your open E. Now, there's a couple different things that you can utilize this particular move with. One is if you're just strumming, you want to just go. Pretty cool, right? Very Stonesy. Up to the B chord, the 5 chord, to the 4, and back to the E. So that right there is a really simple lesson in open E tuning, played on a gorgeous 1920s guitar. It's amazing. Old wood sounds so darn good. But this is something you can do at home or jamming with a friend. Now, if you want to take it into a slightly different feel, I'll give you one more tip before I go. You can take that same move, this one, and you can put it in a shuffle feel, so it goes like this. So your right hand is... Okay? Ready? 1, 2... Shuffle groove, right? Sounds like an early Bob Dylan blues kind of. Let's go up to the 4 chord, the A. I'm obviously messing around with it a little bit. To the 5. That lopey, kind of just loping along kind of thing. So there's an example of taking an open E tuning, adding a really simple fingering to it. Something that even, if you're a beginner, you can still do it. And all you got to do is make sure your right hand, you got your clock kind of steady, right? And that's something that just takes practice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you out and I'm going to show you what can be done with this tuning and a pick. I'll do a couple little fancier things. You ready? Fasten your seatbelts. All right, I'll see you down the road.